Hey everybody, hello YouTube. Hey all survivors of non-consensual human experimentation and those that continue to fight tyranny in all of our countries. Hello internet, we meet again. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine, and it is February 9th, start date February 9th, 2019. It's about 6 o'clock p.m. where I am. I woke up about 4:30. And I just had to get out of my house, so I went to the supermarket to pick up a couple of small things. Now I'm going to run another errand, and I thought I would try and get some vehicular stalking on tape and just do a little bit of rambling in my car. There's I missed it totally. So Saturday at about 6 p.m. in Louisiana, and I've been out for a while. Like, I went to the supermarket, then I went to the Circle K to get some gas and stuff. So I've been out for a couple minutes. It's probably enough for them to get people. And what I was thinking, I know that there are gang stalkers, like vehicular stalkers, and people on foot. They kind of just go around in certain areas where targeted individuals are. But then I think when you go outside and the DHS, your electronics corps, like relays your position to DHS fusion centers, I think people who are already in a certain area, they'll basically GPS you, and then they'll come down the streets that you're going down. So, these gang stalkers take a certain area at all times of the day, and then when a targeted individual is in the area, then they kind of flock to that targeted individual. So I think it's kind of set up like that. But not, I slept on my leather chair without Dave Case's CD on last night, or my grounding, and I feel just so tired, so tired. I have some live streams coming up that I'm gonna do, and just go through some more information, get more concrete information, just keep building on that foundation that we already have, because it's really all I can think of right now. It's kind of what's in my heart to do. I hope all of you guys are, finding comfort in this, things that you enjoy, even if, you have a torturous day, that there's something at the end of the day, or that you do during the day that takes the pain away, that kind of helps you to ignore it. Hope you guys are finding things to buffer out the effects of these weapons. There certainly are things. I just hope y'all are alright, because I know how I get when I'm going through this stuff, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know what to feel. I'm on psychic overload, psychological overload, I guess I should say. That's one of the things, I feel like everybody in society, that's a general psyop that everybody, well, nobody overlooks it, but there's so many things going on, and there's so much information, misinformation, propaganda, and everything out there about all these really important events. And I think people just get overloaded. Like, I was watching this show, Edge of Wonder. I guess I'll talk about this because it's not that big of a deal. But, I watch shows like that, and they mention targeted individuals, but then they also talk about, like, reptilians and people living on Mars and stuff like that. It was really weird, because it seems like this new show where it's like conspiratainment, and they just talk about everything. And they have this guy who I used to see years ago, and I mean, he's still been doing talks and stuff, but his name is David Wilcox, and it's not David Wilcox, it's not the one who went to the pyramids and all that stuff. There's two of them, but there's a younger one. I guess he's kind of old now, but he has like a big head. He kind of looks like Edward Casey, and he's now like on their show all the time as like this expert about it, and he talks about like how the Alliance is fighting the Cabal and stuff like that. And He talks about how there are people who take portals to Mars and all this stuff. So he's talking about the corruption in government, but then he throws in all this stuff, you know, that is just totally unbelievable. And like, if any normal people, like, you know, you put, like, talk about our situation alongside, like, people taking portals to Mars and living on Mars and stuff, and people are just going to get so cognitive dissonance. It's too much, and, you know, it's like, it's way too out there. I mean, what we're saying about being targeted individuals and these remote neuro weapons and stuff is just almost impossible for normal people to believe if they haven't experienced it. It's hard for me to believe as a normal person who's going through it. And sometimes I watch these shows, and I'm not sure, guys, I'm not 100%, but I thought it was really weird how this guy that I had seen on, like, Project Camelot, I forgot, David Wilcox. There's David Wilcox, I don't know, but he has blonde hair and a big forehead and everything like that. And, you know, I always listen to him. He never says anything about neuroweapons or anything, any of the real stuff that's going on. He kind of just says there's this alliance in China and Japan, and they're fighting the cabal. And, you know, he talks about how the Illuminati has all this technology, but he kind of sounds like a bullshitter to me. He just sounds like somebody who's making it all up, and he's like, here, it's a world-breaking news. And I sometimes, you know, comment on this, guys, and I think we know that this exists, but I think that, you know, with that show, and with some of these people, like, who's that guy, the bald guy? Oh, man, I can't remember his name. I don't think I'm getting a lot of one-light vehicles, unless I'm just, you know, I stop paying attention when I'm talking. I can't remember the name, but Ella had him on her show, and he's talked to Carrie Cassidy, and he's on that board. He's like a little bald short guy, and he also talks about people living on Mars, like they're living on Mars, and they're like the satanic ritualists are stealing kids and then sending them to Mars to live and stuff like that. And he also kind of tries to speak out about you know, targeted individuals. He doesn't really know a lot about that. He doesn't know a lot about the real stuff, the real stuff going on in our communities, and yet he's talking about all this, you know, information about people living on Mars. And I wish I could remember the guy's name. And I just, you know, okay, and let me get to my point, because I'm sitting here babbling, and there's a light change right when I'm coming on it. Sometimes, you know, and I know we know this exists, but I'm just not sure who. But I think there are people out there who, you know, they still work for these agencies. They still work for, you know, they still work for the military-industrial complex, and basically they come into these truth movements. They come into these places where people want to get kind of hardcore truth out, and then they just start saying the most ridiculous stuff, but it seems like their place is already, it's like they don't have to, it seems like that's their job, that's where they've been placed, and they are going to be able to talk about whatever they want. It doesn't matter what they talk about. They've kind of got a position almost like a celebrity, like a truther celebrity, and they can say whatever crazy thing they want. And it seems like a lot of those people, they kind of chase people away from listening to the real information about what's happening in their everyday lives. And I was just kind of, you know, it's just something off the top of my head that I was thinking about when I was watching that yesterday. I was like, you know, this guy, David Wilcox, he talks about all this stuff, and the, you know, Pleiadians, and the cabal's doing this and doing that, and kind of financial things about gold that they're doing, but he never talks about, you know, neuroweapons. He has all the inside information. He has people in the Alliance, which is apparently this group that's trying to fight the cabal, and he has all this secret information, but he's not talking about neuroweapons and non-consensual human experimentation by remote-directed energy weapons. It just seems like he's a, you know, I don't know what you'd call that, a carpetbagger or a liar. I don't think it's carpetbagger, but just a like a swindler, and he makes stuff up, and he's doing it for a reason, like almost like he works for an agency. And, you know, and I know we know this exists, but I was just thinking of those examples, Edge of Wonder, because Edge of Wonder did a great show on targeted individuals. but that, you know, they go off into Atlantis and, you know, things like that. They do grab bag of all these things that usually would just turn away somebody, just somebody normal, definitely somebody who watches mainstream news, but it seems like it'd be even harder to get them to listen to anything after they hear that they're like children being stolen and put on Mars. You know, it seems like that just kind of destroys everything. But I was just kind of thinking about that, how that's a form of that's another psyop that people have to get through, you know. Yeah, so I mean, I think that's another psyop that people have to get through. I know I actually do, you know, believe in extraterrestrials. I've never seen one, but I believe that we are not alone in this universe. You know, but I don't talk too much about that. I don't mix it in, because the problem with like mixing in like certain kind of theories or beliefs or things you like to talk about that are a little bit crazy while you're being targeted is people use those things to discredit, you know, what you're really saying about something factually that is happening to you. So it's like, I feel like as a targeted individual, I can't go into philosophy and kind of, you know, crazy thoughts and just theories that I like to before I knew I was targeted. I feel like I have to toe the line all the time, but I guess it could just be that they're just, but I guess if you're just talking about things in theory, like there could be these and we've got some information, it's okay, but then he's saying that it's like concrete information. I had something else that I wanted to say. I want to stop babbling about that, because I don't know I guess my point is something we all know, that I think there's a lot of COINTELPRO, and there's a lot of different kinds of COINTELPRO that pop up in these communities where we're trying to get certain information out, get, you know, actionable information out, and then people come in there and just start, you know, talking about every weird thing under the sun and they say they can back it up with proof, but it's really just, you know, somebody theorizing or something like that. I've only seen one car vehicular stalking me. Maybe two people are getting ready. All the people that would gang stalk are getting ready to go out and drink or something tonight. Yeah, so another night, at least I got okay, this is what I wanted to tell y'all. This is what's been happening around my condo lately, and it's pretty mild compared to like some of the gang stalking that I've heard going on out there. My on-foot gang stalking isn't atrocious. Like, I'll hear sirens when I go walk my dog. I get chemtrails above me and stuff like that. My maintenance guy comes. Well, I'll tell you all that story. My vehicular stalking is pretty bad. But lately, what's been happening, and it's really weird. My maintenance guy has known me for like 2.5 years, or I don't know, since I started living in the condo. And you know, we walk by each other, and he kind of does some weird stuff. But he'll be like, "Hey, Kyle, how you doing today?" And I'm like, "Hey, John, how you doing today?" And lately, and he's done this a couple of times, but I didn't react to it. He'll come by me and he'll go, "Hey, Tim, how you doing today?" So he'll just call me the wrong name, and there's no way he doesn't know my name. And I think I mentioned this on another one of my videos. And usually what I do is I don't correct him, but the next time I see him, I'm like, "Hey, John, I don't do anything about it. I just don't care." I'm like, it's gaslighting. It's a very, very mild form of gaslighting. But this time he did it like 2 days ago. He came by and he goes, "Hey, Tim," and I go, "Hey, John," and then he saw me again. And I was just like, man, this guy is like gaslighting me, and I feel like I'm just like allowing him to call me the wrong name. So I saw him again, and I go, "Hi, Jim," and his name's John. So I was like, "Hi, Jim," and he was like, "Hi, Kyle." Like, so he wasn't gonna do it. He wasn't gonna do the gaslighting thing that time, and I think he got really mad because today, and this is the first time he came out, like we were crossing paths. We always cross paths, and he tries to like walk around the condo and come back my way, because he does on foot. It's a very, very passive form of gang stalking. Very, very passive. But he was getting mad because he came out and he goes, "Hey, Mike," like, so, and I go,